Hello everyone, my name's Reewyn and welcome to day 13 of my Dead by Daylight Bootcamp. Today, we're going to be going over advanced strategies in order to be the best killer or survivor you can be, but also be able to recognize the strategies to try and go against them. Let's go over survivors first. If someone is being chased, get that generator done. Even if the killer is nearby, as long as you know where looping tiles are, you can hold the generator until the killer really pushes you. Often, if the killer is distracted with chasing their victim, they won't be that interested in you, and if they are, just get ready to run. And if you can, try to figure out who the killer is so you know how to counter them. Another strategy is body blocking on the way to the hook. Now, this strategy isn't really worth it if the hook is close to the killer, but if there's some distance, blocking the killer with your body and taking a hit can buy enough time for your fellow survivor to wriggle out. Only do this strategy when you're healthy too, as there's no point being downed yourself. You can also trade in very tight situations. This isn't always a solution and is only for specific situations. If someone is about to die if they're not rescued and there's no one else nearby, then rescue them regardless of yourself being downed. As long as you're not on death hook, of course. This can buy you more time and keep survivors alive. 99ing is a term you'll hear a lot. Essentially, this is where you bring a generator to almost completion so you can tap it, which means you interact with it and it's done. For the exit gate, it has to be majority full with 3 lights on the gate being activated. Once the exit gate is open, you have a time limit, so it's better to unhook a fellow unhooked survivor and then run for it. It buys you time and increases the chance of more survivors getting out. 99ing the gen is similar in that it gives you a chance to get everyone off the hook and ready for the endgame before it starts. Another strategy is to go to a different gen than the one you spawn next to. Killers will often patrol the gens to find you at the start of the match, so they'll hopefully be in chase or past your gen by the time you have found the next generator. Remember, when the killer is near you, he might not always know where you are. Don't immediately run away, as you'll definitely give yourself away. Often, killers won't actually see until you scramble away and then they'll catch you. Another thing to remember is that killers have a much narrower view than the survivors do, which means if you don't run directly in front of them, it's harder for them to see you. It means you can sometimes get away from the killer without them noticing you, or you can break a chase this way by sneaking away, if you get lucky. Faking going to windows helps you as a survivor, especially for killers that can jump through windows. When the killer is aiming to hit the survivor where you are, or preparing to jump through it, make a sharp turn so that the killer either hits the window or jumps through it, buying you precious time. Another strategy is to hug the walls. This means running so that your head is literally in the walls. Killers take longer to turn corners, which means you're shaving off a second or two that can be the difference between being downed or not. Next, sometimes it is not worth it to pull down the pallet, especially when killers such as Demi-Doggy are after you. The animation of pulling the pallet down delays you, therefore you lose time in a chase. For example, you can be pulling the pallet down and get snapped as you do it. Finally, flashlight and pallet saves. Both of these are super useful and not hard to do once you know what you're doing. For a flashlight save, you need to hide nearby and make sure the killer doesn't know where you are. As soon as they start the picking up animation, you need to shine the flashlight right at their eyes. By the time the survivor is properly in their arms, the flashlight beam has to narrow. For a pallet save, the killer simply needs to be picking up or holding the survivor. Often, fellow survivors will crawl over to a pallet if they get the chance. Pull the pallet down and the killer will be stunned, freeing the survivor back to an injured state and buying you more time. Next, we have killers. First, if you're holding a chase for too long, give up. If you're really struggling to catch them, then leave them for now. You're giving free generator time essentially, so it's better to knock out some less experienced players first. Apply pressure too. Survivors tend to become desperate, so every down is important. When it comes to bully squads, spam mouse button to hit when you are between the pallet as it messes with the timing. It nudges you forward and gets you out of the way. It will stop survivors from palleting you right away. When you go to pick someone up, and if you suspect someone is there, pretend to pick up and then stop. Often, the survivor will appear, trying to blind you and revealing their position. This means you'll be able to pick them up and get that hook. You need to consider as well that your viewing range is smaller than that of the survivors. They will try and use that to your advantage. Keep an eye on your sides and watch the movements. They're likely trying to mind game you, so you need to follow the movement patterns and try to protect their movement. Try and keep an eye on your environment. If you see a really good loop tile, you think that they can probably run you for a while, try and force them out of it. Be wary of where these loops are too, so you can try and force the survivor away from it if you can. Similar to survivors, you need to try and be close to walls. If you're walking down the middle of the corridor until the survivor turns a corner, it'll take you a lot longer to cross that distance. A few seconds is absolutely crucial. Something that is incredibly important is to know your killer. See how other people play them and use their abilities and what builds they use. Experience is the best way to get better as a killer or survivor, and there are plenty others that have a lot more experience. there's always more to learn. 3-genning survivors can give you an advantage. It's not as powerful as before, but if it happens an accident, it's all for the better. 3-gen is when 3 generators are the last in a small area and one needs to be completed. It's much faster for you to travel between them, meaning you can down them pretty quickly, and the survivors are forced to go for these generators. It's not your first priority, but if you want to do it, try and keep survivors away from 3 generators in a small area for the match. Remember, this will only work on newer survivors. And finally, that is the end of day 13. Tomorrow we'll go through the final overview so you're ready and prepped. Thank you so much for watching so far, and I really hope I provided you some helpful information. See you on day 14.